It's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. You got a question for RLM? It's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Yeah, time to get down. You gonna feel good now. What I'm talking about.
Ooh-wee, what a morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. Hold on a second. I'm a one-woman show. I got to press this button, press that button, click this, click that. And of course, there's technical difficulties at Blog Talk Radio. And and Blog Talk Radio is going out of business in January 2025. And I have over almost 700 episodes. So how the hell am I going to download all? Oh, scratch all of that. What a way to welcome the audience. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, global happiness specialist. And oh, by the way, it just happens to be my birthday today. Happy birthday. And my family came and surprised me, 20 minutes before airtime. Well, actually, it was a little bit earlier than that, but let me just take a deep breath out. But I welcome you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the show. This show is organically growing because I don't know a thing about marketing. By the way, if you're listening on Noom Vibe, welcome. And if you want to see me live with my birthday headband and I've got a birthday bow on and how old am I? I'm 58 years old plus 11. I thought that sounds better than 69. I'm 58 years old plus 11 on today. Oh, well, today's show, it's, let me calm down a little bit. Let me just calm down. When I say calm down, I just need to take a breath out. This show, one of my favorite teachers one of my favorite spiritual teachers. His name is Mooji. If you've listened to me, you've heard me talk about him. Mooji, Mooji. You can find his talks on YouTube, and I just discovered this man. This year, maybe 5-6 months ago this year, and I am hooked. And today's show is going to be, I find this talk one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful talks that Mooji has ever given. I haven't listened to all of them, but this talk, and I want to share with you where you can find it. It's on YouTube, and it's called Must Watch Satsang. Satsang. And the title of the talk is, I will not start with your problem. I will start with you. And I've listened to it at least 8-10 times. And I listened to it again this morning, and it's just so powerful. I was, the ego, my person was going through maybe 5 days of tsunami emotions, emotions that, my ego would say unwanted emotions. And happiness, contentment, inner peace is all a practice skill. And this talk that you are about to hear is all the practice that you need. I'm telling you, it answers every single question you may have, at least in my humble opinion. And it doesn't sound like I'm humble, but it answers every question to every challenge that you will ever experience. And the truth of this answer, of these answers, is just it brings to me so much peace, so much relaxation, so much truth. It's just, it's what's the word? It blows my mind anyway. So I am going to share that in less than a minute, again, less than 2 minutes. But just for the new people that who the hell is this Rebecca Norrington happiness specialist? Well, when I was younger, I made a wish on my birthday, coincidentally, and I always wished for two things. I wanted to live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. And so this happiness, I get a lot of slack, I get a lot of feedback, a lot of, believe it or not, hate mail from the program that says, well, happiness is, everybody's got their own perspective, but let me be very clear of what my definition of happiness is. It is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. And listening to this satsang, which is just a teaching, a school, I'm telling you, if you haven't heard Mooji, you're in for a treat. Again, let me just click, because I'm doing all the behind the scenes production. If you want to watch me live, I'm on my YouTube channel, Rebecca Norrington, and Noon Vibe. Here we go. I will not start with your problem. I will start with you. Doesn't get any better than that. Let me just set this up with the microphone. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Happiness, contentment, inner peace are all practice skills. Oh, and by the way, not to sell anything, but my book, my latest book, it's called Programmed for Unhappiness. And in this book, I'm holding it up, and it's on Amazon. And in this book, I list 56 program behaviors that subtract from happiness, contentment, peace. But again, it's a vibration that I'm talking about. It's an energy that I'm talking about. It's a foundation. What are you rooted in? Contentment. And it's a practice. Okay, without further ado, let me just line this up to the microphone. One of these days I'll have a real studio. Oh, let me move my bow a little bit higher. I'll have a real studio, but it's not today. And just a quick setup. So there's a gentleman he's only going to speak for a minute, and he's asking Mooji about all of the emotions that he feels. And he says, he uses the term, he describes it as hardness. I feel this hardness. And he says, this gentleman is saying, and I don't sense that you have this hardness. And Mooji answers, and this answer is going to be at least 45 minutes, I believe. So get some popcorn, sit down, relax, sip some tea, sip some coffee. I saw Wicked a couple of days ago. Oh, I digress. Okay, here we go. I will not start with your problem. I will start with you. Again, you can find this on YouTube. Moji, Moojiji, must watch satsang. I will not start with your problem. I will start with you. Action.
Then I still feel this harshness, of being.
Yeah, sorry, you still feel what?
Hardness, maybe. Hardness.
Hardness of being.
Maybe, yes. Which is in the mind, which is in my habits, my tendency to want to own experiences of life, the good and the bad, yes. The success, the failures. And maybe my question is about this ownership, which of course I don't see in you. You work in, and there is this beauty, and there is
there's something. Maybe it is. This is too much bass or something. The words, I'm not getting it so clearly, so I'm struggling to hear. Is there a way maybe we can? Is this a turning down of a bass or something? Sorry, just one moment, and let's see if I can get. Could you try again? Because just last sentence I was struggling.
Is hardness of being that I tend to recognize in myself and I don't see in you, and maybe that I want to melt or change, that maybe I've been always trying to change it,
Yes.
Even from the very first recognitions, I felt that is beautiful, but here there is something that has to change.
Yeah, thank you.
And with this wanting to change always, there is connected a sense of
Yes.
something that feels wrong in the light of your love, you know? It feels really wrong.
Again, it's the last part, if you can remember.
There is something that feels wrong and necessary in the light of your love, but it keeps coming back and I keep owning it.
I see. It's good. And yes. You say that you feel the hardness inside sometimes,
Yeah.
which you don't see in me, no? But I can feel also hardness also. But it's not a state that stays. I can feel everything, but there's not a feeling that I should not feel some things. Anything can be felt, but what is important is that they're not proliferating. It's not getting more and more, or there's any attachment to them. I would not like it if there are things that I couldn't feel. It's okay that I can feel them, but then thereafter, after feeling them, what follows? Do I develop a relationship with these feelings and then I'm holding on to them? And so it is good that life comes and tests you to see where you are with these states. Do they stick? And is there something that can be done about them or something like that? And I am happy that you brought this up. Maybe I can speak a little bit more about just some, I feel, very essential pointers to what I'm endeavoring to share and to get across to you. It may be helpful, you see. Can I take a few moments and do this? Because I feel what you're asking is incorporated in this. So I'll have a go at that. Because you know that so much I've been pointing towards the witnessing, that how important I take it to be, how very important it is to recognize your ability to observe with detachment. I put it so highly that I feel that it is one of the major steps that will be taken that will create such a change in the way that life is experienced in you. That's the first step. And maybe there's another step after this, but let me come to this one, because most people in life, and I don't want to separate, you're spiritual people, you're not spiritual people. I'm just, for me, everything is spirit, actually. But we come to that. Most people will testify, even people who have been on a spiritual path for a long time still refer from a place of I. Babaji, if it's okay, I can maybe bring a chair, because I want to still look at you while I speak, but I'm speaking with everyone. I don't want you just to be standing up there. Is it possible that someone they'll bring you a chair. You can sit right by the microphone, and it's coming. The chair is coming for you. Okay. Because this may take a few minutes, and I don't want to just leave you standing there. No? So, okay. So even among spiritual-oriented beings, they still speak. We still speak. But this happened to me, and when I do this, and I tried that, and I've been meditating for so many years, and still, I'm having the I, me, my, mine, this type of thing. No? So if we take it from this perspective where we just listen and someone say, what's happening in my world, in my case, in my mind is this. And so our attention goes to what we are talking about. In my mind, what happens is that very strong feelings of, attachments come up, and we start to look at attachments. And I say, wait a second. The mind can speak about innumerable things that we can say. It's jealousy, it's attachment, it's addiction, it's fear, it's the fear of rejection, it's this, it's my relationship, and so on. And it feels that we all have so many different problems exist in the world. How can we fix all of them? And then I remember inside my own being, then I say to you, listen, let's not pay so much attention to the thing that the mind wants to say, yes, because whenever, when I'm sitting in satsang here, it's fine. But when I go back to my home place where people know me, everything comes back and I go back into role and blah, blah. How can I help this and so on? So I say, I want to condense all of these, the various expressions of the mind. Let's catch it in one net, not just like a fisherman with a rod catching one fish at a time. Let's catch all of it together. Because however diverse or unique your problem might appear to you, it comes back down to an I. You with me? Yeah, there's always an I behind it that says, yes, so that's what's happened to me. And someone said, well, in my case, I imply my and me. So I said, again, I hear so many things. I've been asked, what happens when this thing happens and so on? What happens when this thing happens? And, what I find is this thing. And we are all directed towards the things, the circumstances, the situations, and say, how can we fix the situations? And please listen. Not so good repeating sometimes. No? It's just coming up. I'm sometimes hearing myself for the first time saying some things also. So we are largely directed towards the situations, the circumstances, the memories, the projections, the things that come up in the mind. How can we fix them so that we are better? You with me? So I said, actually, everything comes back to this I who has these problems. Then I see that, wait a minute, what is the I like that keeps having problems? And I see in every case, it is personal. It is personal. And I came to see that always is the personal sense of I that gets problems. There has never been a problem for an impersonal I. It is always seeming it's the I, me, the person, implying the person. I've got man problems, I've got woman problems, I've got teenage problems, I've got to do with the person and the body that the person sense identifies with. So I thought, this feels good now. So what is this person? Is it original? It is just what we are. We are all persons and each one a unique person. Each one unique person, you see. So then if we have 7.5 billion unique persons, with probably 7.5 unique problems, how are we going to sort it out? What I've found is that everything comes back to this I feeling inside us. And nobody questions the I. We take the report of the I as the starting point, as the fact place. This is me, but this is my problem. We want to fix the problem, but nobody looks at the I who has the problem. It doesn't seem to occur to us. What is the I that has the problem? It seemed to me at some point that there is no personal problem. The person is the problem. He's creating because he's always seeing this problem today and then tomorrow and then another problem. And where are these problems coming from? And I see largely it's not the problem doesn't really exist externally as we think. Yeah, it's because this thing is there. But somebody said, well, it's not a problem for me. There was a problem for me. Which is the fact then? Is the fact out there or in here? Why do I say there's no personal problem? The person is the problem. Nothing exists in life as a problem. Nothing exists with one single fixed meaning in itself. The meaning of a thing exists in the mind of the perceiver of it. Am I going too quickly? No. The meaning of anything is existing in the mind of the one perceiving it and not in the thing itself. So we are arguing, well, this is so horrible, and someone's number is very beautiful. And so, what do you mean it's beautiful? It's horrible. We can't come to the end of our differences because it is a difference of perception and not a difference of the thing in itself. So one people feel that these red roses is so wonderful. It's an expression of love. Another one thing, no, it's blood. Without giving red roses, you see, and we fight more blood about it, and then we apologize, more roses. We are not consistent if we look for the end of a problem outside of ourselves. So the very I sense should be looked at, because it is it that is claiming to have the problem. The thing itself doesn't say, the rose doesn't say, I have a problem. I'm just a problem. No, somebody is saying the rose is a problem. Can I continue like this? So let's look at the one who is claiming to have the problem. No? This one says this is a problem, but then they blah blah blah, something happened, and they changed their mind, and it's not a problem. It's not consistent. The reporter is not consistent. Today, I love you with all my heart. Tomorrow, we are not consistent at the place of our person. Today, you want to be free. Tomorrow, Krishna, wait a little bit. We are not consistent. And yet we don't somehow investigate the one we take ourselves to be. So today, I just want to look a little bit like that, because I feel that if we are going to try and solve 7.5 billion problems, we really got a problem. But if you are going to look at the one who has problem, and who witnesses the one who has the problem, does that one have a problem? I think we might find something. So the one who is saying, yes, but me, and but you, the ones I and me and you and they and them and so on. We're just looking at that, no? Because no one is saying, I need to look and see if I, who am perceiving this, I'm perceiving it correctly. Very few people do that. Now, in satsang, you're being asked, when people come forward and say, my problem is this. And I ask, when you say my problem, are you referring to as the one saying my problem? And at first, when we first hear this, it just feels ridiculous. Why is he asking this? Of course, it's me. I said, yes. Yeah, okay, of course it's you. But you are what exactly? And again, initially, it looks like the mind puts up a lot of resistance, like, what is this? This is not helpful. Let's begin to look at the problem. And I said, well, let's begin to look at you who perceive the problem. Because if I say that the problem is there, another one say, no, it's not there, it's over there. Where do we look? I look at the place where the problems start. And they start here. And something is thinking a certain way. And I say, the one who is saying this, can this one's voice be relied upon? I'm just saying, the one who is giving their opinion about life, the world, other people, or themselves, is this voice reliable? Is it trustworthy? Is it consistent? You see? And you say, no, it's not consistent. So for it to be known to be not consistent, something else must be able to be looking at it to say, no, it's not consistent, actually. A deeper place of looking must be able to testify that voice, though it comes out of this mouth and apparently out of this mind, it is not reliable. It changes. It changes. Okay? So, okay, it changes. What witnesses the change? Because you can say, now my mind is very, there's a tsunami going on in my head. I could have, please give me something, please give me. I said, but whoa, I slow down. Just let the tsunami be there. Don't run for an anti-tsunami pill just yet. Just let the tsunami go there. But stay in the place with me, just observing it, right? Because a change may happen to the tsunami state, and I want you to witness it consciously. Watch. And so you may hear this voice to say, just observe, don't identify, but don't try and change the state. Just observe the state, okay? And observing begins to take place and said, yeah, whoa. Between 1 and 10, 10 being the most powerful tsunami, you know? What are you experiencing now? It's like 8.5. Whoa, it's 8.5. Is it going higher? No, it's kind of like, if you don't interfere, don't touch it. How does it feel now? There's a strong pull to get into it. I said, but that is also observed. A strong pull to go into identity with it is being observed also. You have not moved. Stay only as the neutral observer. And what happened? Now it's down to kind of like 6. Okay, all right. Now I feel really, thank you so much. Saying we're not over. That feeling of relief is also observed or not? Yes, but I like it. The feeling of liking it is also observed or not? Yes. What's the reading now? Don't identify. It's down to 3.5, whatever, no? Just by observing, okay? Now, a little while ago, I gave an example of these 2 birds in a tree, and I'm going to say it again, because maybe someone has not heard it. I gave an example, if you imagine a tree, or a picture of it in a tree, and on one branch is sitting a bird, and the bird is making a nest, and having babies and flying, bringing worms and building the nest and so on. And this bird building a nest in the tree represents our activity in life, our dynamic life. Finding a job, making a family, raising your children, planning to build your next house, making sure that you know, all of these things. That bird represents our dynamic life. On a branch just above that bird sits another bird that looks very much like that first bird. The second bird is just quietly looking. It's not involved, not building any nest, not flying off here and there to get worms for feeding babies. It's just looking. It is not just looking at first bird. It can see the sky, it can feel the wind, it can see the sea, it can feel the space. All of this is there, but it is just quietly observing. This second bird, we'll say, represents a capacity and an ability within you to simply observe with detachment. That's important. The word detachment is very important. To observe things with detachment, okay? So in the view of the second bird is the first bird. In the first bird view, sometimes he's not aware of second bird. It's a bit high, not looking up there. He's too busy with his own thing. He's not aware of any second bird, okay? So the second bird's view include the first bird and all its activities, but it itself is not attached to those activities. If I were to say to you, there are 2 aspects of one reality. One is our active dynamic play in life, and the second bird aspect is the place where you can just observe. Can you relate to these 2 points of seeing? I'd like a little feedback maybe. Yeah, you can relate to these things. You can see that, yes, there is that in that aspect of my life where I'm living, planning my next journeys, making ready for my birthday, getting married next year, blah, blah, blah. That's the first bird activity. I'm not saying we should do anything about it. Let that flow. But now we go to the second bird position, which is inside the first bird, actually, of an ability to just observe. Just keep observing. Yeah? We observe. Yeah, we say we can observe with detachment. Maybe not complete detachment. Maybe from time to time, we lose our detachment and jump in to first bird mode. But because you have learned to observe, when you get into first bird mode, something feels like it's claustrophobic. And something brings you back into the second bird position where, again, if I'm just observing, not manipulating, just observing, there's more spaciousness, there's more peacefulness, it's more panoramic. The life seems to slow down. I have more space. I feel more happy, more peace, more rested. Has anybody experienced this or not? Yes. Okay, then this is very good. So from the place of the observing mode and capacity within us, when we begin or discover, we didn't create observing ability, we're just discovering that we have that power within ourselves to observe without logging in every time. Okay? Now, the second bird is not against activity. Why is the first bird not in the second bird posture at the same time? Often because it's so identified with what it's doing, and also a belief that it alone exists. It's the fact unto itself. This is just what I am. You can't change the spots on a leopard. This is how it is. Take it or leave it. But as soon as you begin to recognize, but that is observable, okay? We are not cursing our activities. We are just slipping a bit deeper to observe. And when you observe, what happens? Again, more spaciousness. We don't feel so hasty, not so fearful, much less anxious, more joy, more peace is coming in. So of course you like this as well. And remember, this second bird position is not cursing first bird, not saying, first bird doesn't exist, it's not real, it's all good. No, it sees it. But when it sees from its own place of observing, its activities, its dynamic activities, come under a higher intelligent field. Okay, am I with you? And so the activities, if it's missing in the first bird, the ability to observe its activities and its identity, it often wastes a lot of energy in projecting and imagining and all kinds of things, which when it observes, it can see all those things and it can say, whoa, no, but that's just a thought. I don't need to go for this. There's more space. It slows down the speed of perception. It's simply just here. Okay? Now I would take it that most people in here knows and have experienced or are experiencing what I'm speaking. That even as you're sitting here, are you listening? Or is not listening happening quite spontaneously in you? And understanding is taking place without you understanding. No, it just happens. This is the marvelousness of consciousness that is there. So we come to this place, and then I say, the first bird position of the dynamic activity in the world, it's a function or not. It's a functioning of something. There's moving, activities, doing, going. All of this is a functioning. Okay? Second bird, observing. Can we say that could possibly be a functioning also? I need to hear from you. Okay? If the witness, which is relative to the thing it's witnessing, the thing witness seems like activity dynamic. But the witness is not busy, it's quiet, but witnessing is taking place, okay? So relative to what it's looking at, it is relatively still, isn't it? But is that also a function or not? So it is a function, okay? In order to respond to this question, your ability must be at a deeper place, even beyond this particular witness, to say that even though it feels very beautiful, to be in this state of witnessing, and it's much more tranquil, but it is still an activity. Witness means one thing witnessing another thing. Okay? So if I say to you that even the witness is witnessed, does it make sense or does it speak foolishness? Okay, let's be in this place where even the witnessing is also perceived. Is that also a function? Slow down now, slow down. Okay? First, you caught all the activities in the universe, actually, because we are not going to limit activity to only human activity. Any activity, even the movement of the clouds, the ripples on the ocean, the feeling of the breeze, the sense of thinking and feeling is all activity. Can we say like this? Yes. And the perceiving of that activity, also the perceiving of it, although it seems relatively more quiet, is also a function. Maybe a slower function, more peaceful function, a more joyful function, but it's also a function. Okay, can we see this? Do we have to dismiss it? Does it feel that now, oh, that's a function, that's also unreal? Because if there is someone who is saying, but that's also fun, that's also unreal, that one dismissing is also a function. So if I say, can the witness be witnessed? Slowing down, can the witness of the first bird and its activity, can that witness be witnessed? I think you've already answered it in a way, no? You say yes. At the place where even the second bird, who is a more broader witness, a more quiet witness, is witnessed, that which witnesses or perceive even the second bird witnessing, is that active? Is this, are these words, is this what I'm asking of you? To simply look? Does that bring you into activity? No. Is it necessary to stop the activity in order to see clearly? No. Remember I told you about the windscreen wiper? At first, when we are not clear as to your attention is not on yourself, then it will go out and the movement you'll be pulled into the movement. This is why I said don't log on. Simply observe. Should I stop? Okay. So this looking now, we are here. Did you travel to this place? When I say even the witnessing is itself observed, and you said, yes. Did you come to this place? Did you travel to this place I'm speaking to? No. Did you create it? You're just aware. Okay. Now, this has been my effort to try and get you to acknowledge and to recognize that this exists. Whether you're a good person or a bad person, doesn't matter. This exists in you. Okay? I'm not tackling our addictions yet. I'm not tackling your problems and how to resolve the thing with your family and how to give up. We're not touching that yet. You follow? I'm only looking at your capacity to witness and to witness with detachment. Okay? When you are here in this place of looking, who are you? I don't want answers for a moment. Allow the questions to search. Who or what are you? Who is looking? Are you an object that can be looked at? Should I take it that those of you who are at the front are nearer to me and those who are at the back are further away from me at the moment, or what? In this talk, are you further away from what I'm speaking by sitting at the back? And are you nearer to where I'm speaking by sitting at the front? No. Okay. Where I'm pointing to, where even the weakness of the first bird, the observer, is itself perceived, okay? Pay attention to your inner environment. Just pay attention. Not asking you to create anything, to do it, just pay attention. What is here like now? What is here like? Huh? Stable. Somebody say stable. Huh? Is someone say openness? Someone say peace? Spacious. Yes. Okay. Okay, it's fading. I'm not hearing, but okay. Generally, the point is that we are all speaking roughly about the same kind of thing. Whether you say it's peaceful, it's spacious, it's quiet, it's kind of open. It's a similar kind of feeling. Different words, maybe. It's not 100,000 different opinions. Are you speaking of an opinion? When I ask you this question, what is here now? Are you giving an opinion? No. You are speaking from seeing, isn't it? Directly. Do you need to go away and think about it? No, it is right here. So what you're speaking about is right here. And who you are speaking as is right here. What is the difference between that which is right here and that which is right here? My point is, that environment that you are speaking of, that you say, yes, there is that. This environment, does it have trees and rivers? Is it made of trees and rivers and nice people? Please? Okay. Is it, the skies are just luminous? Is it anything like this? No. Is this a disappointing discovery? Are you here? You suffering? Are you a dropout? Crazy hippie? Mad? Rebellious? Fundamentalist? This, whatever it is now that we are aware of, does it come and go? No. You who are here to say this, do you come and go? Less voice? Huh? No. Okay? Now, I just wanted to hear this from you. I just want to hear this from you. We have arrived. If I use words, they won't be true, but I'm also using words to say it's like the very ground of being. But there's no ground. The very essence of self. Any politics, any nationalities, any religion, any war, any fighting, any misery. Oh my God. You sure you're not under hypnosis? that we are not just imagining this. Okay. Is it more real in this hall and not so real outside? No. So if we look again at the earlier first bird state where things are moving, blah, 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 blah. From here, do we need to stop that movement in order to be very peaceful so we can say, yes, it's quiet? No, thank you. Do we need to say observing of all these things is unnecessary because we are in Parabrahman? Okay. Now, having discovered this, it is still likely that you will say in a little while, you know, Mooji, that was so fantastic, man. It was great. Can we do it again? I said, did you do it? No, you didn't do it. You may say, you know, actually, when I'm in satsang, everything is fine. I'm the isness. When I go outside, I'm in the business. How can I stay in the isness? Because that feels really real right now, okay? And I say, do I really need to walk through those steps with you again? And you say, yes, actually, I just feel like I lost it. I said, the one who is giving the report about losing it, is that voice trustworthy? No. Even though in that moment, it might feel like, you know, whoa, you know I said that yesterday, and I'm on record for saying that. But right now, how it feels, I got to get out of Rishikesh, man. I got to go down to Goa or something and chill out a little bit because my head is killing me. Is it possible or not? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because of the momentum of habit comes back. And when it comes back, this is what I want to talk to you about today. Because right now it may feel impossible. Impossible. If mind coming back, impossible. It's nothing. Okay? But on the day that he comes, in the moment he comes, oh, he's really something. Oh, you didn't prepare me for that one. And again, what has happened is that something from your formlessness, something has been seemingly pulled back into shape, into the form of a person. I wonder if you can see this. Yeah? And I don't want you to say, oh, I failed, I blame, and oh, no, I'm not going to get it, and so on, because that's how the person speaks, actually. And when that identity flares up again, it feels real unto itself. What are you to do? And who am I referring to as you? Because what is the important thing is that you have experienced, not just believed, but you have experienced directly your true nature. Are you and your experience separate? No. Yet when the mind comes, you will feel separated from that. But the important thing is that you know that that exists. The one who is saying, oh, I don't know. What I'm saying here is that the fundamental thing has been discovered. When the mind comes back, if each time you can take the step to remember that, but that was observed, you know, I'm observing that I cannot be the thing observed. You see, you remember those steps, and gradually you find yourself back in your open space. Whether you want to call it emptiness or nothingness or the peace state or the isness or the Brahman or you want to call it pure awareness, or the God self, it's all the same. There are more words existing in our kingdom than there are things. Okay? Not each word is a separate thing. We have so many things and hundreds of words for the same thing. Synonyms, I think you can call. Okay? So don't be hard on yourself that the mind comes back, the mind comes in, you're growing in your awareness and your discerning ability to keep recognizing, but it is a movement, no? But in the day and in the moment that the mind is playing so strong and you're again feeling you're in identity, it's very difficult to jump out of the identity. So how it's going to work then is that the more you spend time in the place where you're timeless, funny thing to say, the more time you spend bringing your chaotic mind into silence again, and you become accustomed to yourself being like this, the less influence, the less vitality and virility there will be in the egoic state. And less it will come because you are becoming more grounded in your self-recognition. Is it fair to say this? Because some people think, but I saw and I know I am this, as though that should mean an instant amputation to your activities, nothing exists, mother, father, children, world, everything has gone. No, that's not the point, okay? That although it keeps coming back, you're seeing from the place of deeper stillness until gradually all that stuff gets merged into your stillness. It's not that you need to kill the mind. You just need to remember yourself and recognize your true place. You follow what I'm speaking? Because people are looking for dynamite for their mind. They're looking for things to chop their mind. Ask Mooji, could you kill my mind? I'm saying, oh my God, No, you just need to see from the deeper place, the deeper consciousness in yourself. And when you see from here, the influence of the psychological state will weaken. So let it come. If the fans are going here, and I flick the switch off, the blades will still keep turning, but the power is cut. So you know it's slowing down, okay? What is the power being cut in the examples I'm using? That you realize through your attention that, but I'm here. When I'm here, I can see the actions, interactions, reactions that come from the dynamic state, but not being pulled into them. Being pulled into them means accepting again personal status, personhood. For a while, you will feel that you fail because of the force of the tendency and the habit, the reflex to go back into form. But this is changing because the understanding, which I'm trying to get you to see, has become more and more established in you. The more it gets established in you, the less you will be distracted and deluded by the body-mind state. Is it clear? This is the quintessence of my pointing. Everything. Because supposing you have an addiction or some fear in your personhood state, you see that it exists in the personhood state and not in the witness state. Can you feel this or not? That the more you stay in your neutrality, the more you are confirmed in the deeper place of consciousness, you can see that those addictions are to your body-mind identity and not to this. And gradually, the addictions, the sufferings are due to what? Identification. When you identify, it strengthens them because you associate yourself as being that thing. Now, it may be an episode, it may be some kind of disharmony functioning way. I would put it that coming to recognize your true place is one of the greatest medicines for all that's happening in your life. Because something may happen in your body, mind, okay? But it gets very much strengthened and worsened by identifying with it. Because when you identify with it, you give it power. When you observe it, and not just observing it, but being self-aware that you are a witness of all these things, then what happens is that there is, if I'm going to use ordinary words, almost like a buildup of a force of stillness in you. So all the activities somehow happen in your stillness. Can you see this? Yes. And it doesn't matter, they go, it's still the stillness which those movements are occurring. And more you will get excited by or have the sense that you're being pulled into identity with those forces. And by not being pulled into identity with those forces, they begin to come into their natural alignment and harmony with you. Even you're not putting them in alignment, you're not putting them into shape, they automatically come into alignment in you. Because a universal principle holds them. But the mind creates distortions of perception, and you believe that you are doing these things. But you're only by identifying with the smallest power in you, experience distortions of perception. Does it make sense energetically and internally to you? Can you see? Because the greatest transcendence comes through understanding. Direct understanding, direct experience is our sadhana today. Not to do this and then later this. Yes. Just keep as much as you can staying in this. You can still do your activity. If you're a musician, you can still be a musician. If you're an artist, you can still be an artist. If you're a parent, you actually become a better parent. You become a better artist, actually. You become better at these things, but those labels won't stick to you because your fundamental nature is coming from formless. You're formless in your nature. And you can bear those words. They're not words that your mind is fighting against, but your art can confirm them. So if there's a practice, it will be this. The mind will keep coming up. The psychological identity, all this will keep coming up. And one of the mistakes I see now is that when things come to us, it is the mind itself that's wrongly labeling them to say this is bad luck. But they're just opportunities to transcend them. If you learn from your mistakes, they are not mistakes anymore. They're your teachers. There's a tendency to keep thinking, oh, why is all this thing happening to me? And so, because you keep being that me. And blaming everything, oh, why is this here? And not seeing. This seeing has come to you from the grace of yourself. That as you begin to observe more, you depressurize these states. You deconstruct all these states. Then I can say, if you came with an addiction, if you came with a big problem, I will not start at the problem. I'll start with you to look into who you are living as. And if you can come to this level of seeing, then I can say, now, tell me what your problem is. Now from here, not when you are identified with a problem, but when you are identified with yourself. Then I say, now, between 1 and 10, what is your problem? And yes, it can still be that, yeah, I still feel like this, sometimes that. It's okay, but it's slowing down in your seeing. Do we get this or not? So I'm very happy that we can have some time like this just to talk about this, just to look. I have not given you any spiritual gymnastics. Just say, just look, just look. You don't identify for the moment. Don't identify for the moment. This is the power even of the invitation. Don't identify with anything for a moment. Are you missing anything? If you feel, no, I can't suspend my mind, it's too important. You feel the need for intense control, because this is what will happen if you are strongly identified with your form. You will feel the need to control your life. Why? Because it's out of control in your head. You try to control not just you, but other people too. You will have a scenario about how life should be, and you try and put people in place to act out your scenario. As you observe, you don't interfere, because you will come to see that life takes care of life when seen from the true place. But when seen from the limited place, life feels like an ordeal. And this is why also sometimes people commit suicide and they do terrible things, because they feel there's no more space in them. But this is your space. You did not create it. And it doesn't matter how many wrong things you think you may have done. I'm not going to tell you start, correcting all. Yes, do the best you can. But don't leave this out. Listen, observe. Because even what I'm speaking with you now, there are several prisons around the world where this practice is taking place, and prisoners are saying, I wish I knew this before. My God. Yes, I could see that I made some not the best choices, but from that place, that's all I could do. But now I have the ability to observe, you see, and recognizing the true self, the true state. Many of these prisoners are more free than you in prison, because that's just a physical prison, but this is a psychological prison. And one that you can be free from today. As you see, you can say, yes, look how much energy has been given to identifying with a practice or with a mode or with a behavior. But I am much more than a behavior. I'm also the witness of the behavior. And as soon as you keep on just checking in, you keep checking in, and those behaviors will start checking out. You keep checking in. Who is looking at these things? Last week, I was pointing out a simple exercise. I call it eye watching. Because every thought, every activity seems to start at the place of I want, I do, I think, I know. And I say, watch this eye, watch its position. Is it starting from person or from presence or from pure awareness? And as you do that, you begin to see how much of your life and energy has been spent in the wrong position, in the limited position of personhood. Something can observe. This is the power of observing.
Well, I got a phone call in the middle of this talk, so I don't know. I looked down on the phone and it looked like it was muted on Noom Vibe. So what I'm going to do is later on during the day. I'm going to repeat the same thing, but I won't be talking in the beginning, but I am going to repeat this talk. And again, you can find it on YouTube. Let's see, hold on. Let me get you the exact title. It's Must Watch Satsang, Satsang. I will not start with your problem. I will start with you. The speaker is Mooji, Moojiji. I think this guy is phenomenal. And see, what he said is just self-explanatory. And he also said, live in neutrality, live neutral. And anyway, I'm not going to keep talking because this was a long talk, but I appreciate everyone that's listened. Ooh, I've listened to this now probably almost 10 times, and it is just a reminder. I was taking notes, and I hear something different every time. I hear something, I hear more every time, more, and it's just a practice. It's just a practice. Practice identifying with presence, practice identifying with your pure awareness. And don't think I have it mastered, but I will be practicing not identifying with my person, my human, until I breathe my last breath. That's the commitment. And that's what I prioritize over everything. Whew. I am going to re-record it, or not re-record it, but do another live, and it's not going to be interrupted. I didn't know that when somebody called that it would, the Noon Vibe would go on mute. But anyway, Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, I don't feel like even talking now. And you know, you can find me online. Let's see. Hold on a second. My latest book, Program for Unhappiness. And again, when I do focus on the human, there are 57 program behaviors that have been programmed with all of us, myself included. And I list them in the book, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. It's on Amazon. And this book it not only program behaviors, but I also list 26 behaviors that you can practice that will add to your contentment. And when I say happiness, let me be clear. It is an energy. It is a vibration, a personal vibration of contentment. My definition of happiness is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace, regardless of what happens. It is my birthday today. I'm 58 plus 11. 58 plus 11. Thank you for listening. I will also replay this again, so we won't have any interruptions. And thank you for listening on Noon Vibe. Let me pull up the so many technical difficulties. So Blog Talk Radio is going out of business in January, and technical difficulties for the last 3 months. But here we go with the song. Let's see. Hold on. This is my theme song, Reality Spirituality, and here we go.
It's time to get real. Oh yeah. It's a new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. You got a question for RLN? Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about.
Can I get out of this? I'm in the twilight zone.